who have been fighting tirelessly to bring about a change to our broken care system. We all know that care is essential, do we not? Care work makes all other work possible. And a first of its kind federal investment in care is going to pass out of this great Congress and Senate. And it is going to the president's desk and it will be signed. Because care cannot wait. I said care cannot wait. We have waited too long. We will wait no longer. And we're here together because home care workers, workers that they stand in solidarity with, their consumers, our partners, our elected champions, our friends, and the women who do this work. All women, Black women, brown women, AAPI women, indigenous women, white women, immigrant women, polka dot women, purple wearing women. We have been written out, discounted, dismissed, diminished for far too long. We've been written out of our economy. We have been written out of labor laws. We need higher pay. We need stronger benefits. And we need a path to a union to ensure we have what we need to build power, to continue to advocate, to fight for ourselves, for the people that we care for those we loved, for our beloved community. Yeah. We're here because home care clients, seniors, children, people with disabilities need access to affordable quality care. And no one who needs care should have to wait for it any longer. And we are here in these hallowed halls because Congress has a once-in-a-generation chance to bring about a change that will not just lift up workers and consumers, but our whole entire economy. When you change the lives of caregivers and their consumers, you change our country. Yeah. By delivering on the Build Back Better plan that funds an unprecedented investment in home care and in turn our communities and our families. Together we stand at the precipice of creating hundreds of thousands of high quality union jobs that will help millions access affordable quality care. We say home care can't wait. Racial and gender justice can't wait. Our economy can't wait. It's time to deliver. And so today we are going to hear from four important group of stakeholders. We're going to hear from our elected champions who's doing the sausage making of making sure this package gets passed, and I'm going to introduce them as they come to the podium. We are also joined today by workers, we're joined today by consumers, and we're joined today by the important care champions who are a part of the Care Can't Wait Coalition who join us in this fight, because this is about home and community-based services, but it's about childcare, and it's about paid leave as well. So now I want to introduce our first speaker, and that is Senator Ron Wyden of the great state of Oregon. Senator Wyden chairs the Senate Finance Committee, super important, you all, super important. And my great friend Melissa sends her greetings. Senator Wyden has stepped up for care and nursing home workers throughout the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure that workers throughout the country are respected, protected, and paid. He has always been an ally with us, and we're so happy to have him here today in our corner. Senator Wyden.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Let's give our leader another round of applause. I can't hear you. We've got a vote on, and I'm not going to filibuster, because you don't filibuster your friends. And I think we all understand that the last few years have been ever so hard. We have had to contend with a pandemic. We have had to fight back against efforts to turn back the clock on Medicaid, and democracy has been attacked right here on these grounds. I am here to tell you no more. No more. From this point on, we're playing offense. We're playing offense. And that's what our home and community-based services bill is all about. It's about a grassroots mobilization. Political change doesn't often start in the government buildings and trickle down. It's grassroots up. And here are some of the best messages. We know people want care at home, number one. Number two, this is a chance to do it in a way that is less costly than institutional care. And number three, this is a way to bring workers and families together. So I just want you to know, there's a vote I've got to run off to right now. But I'm going to be with you every single step of the day until home and community-based services is legislation that heads to the president's office for his signature. God bless.
Thank you so much, Senator. Go cast that vote. As I said, we're joined today here by essential home care workers from the great states of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, and New York. Uh-oh, here they come, you all. Here they come. I am going to ask for you all's agility because, as you just heard, votes are taking place. And so I ask for your agility, and we're going to be fluid so that we can allow the electeds as they come in to speak so that we can get them in and out. And this actually, our next speaker really doesn't need an introduction. His leadership is so incredibly important, not just on the issue of home and community-based services and the care agenda, but like he's one of the movers and the shakers in this building. And I'm supposed to say something about him. And he's moving and shaking. I want to give him his just due. Oh, well, I'm going to freeball it. This is the amazing Senate Majority Leader from the great state of New York, Chuck Schumer. He is a friend to home care workers, and so glad to have his leadership. Thank you.
Introducing my senator, the champion of home care for healthcare workers, Chuck Schumer.
Moving and shaking with this great SEIU NDWA home care rally. Thank you for having me. I thank my colleagues for being here. And I want to thank my House and Senate colleagues, Wyden, Casey, Hassan, Jeffries, Lee, Lawrence, Schakowsky, and Dingell for participating in this great event. But most of all, I want to thank SEIU and particularly my New York 1199 folks. We worked very closely together last year when they might have all lost their jobs because COVID hit New York strong. We got the money and they all kept their jobs, and so many of them risked their lives, so many of you, during the height of COVID to keep people healthy. And you know a lot of people who risk their lives? I'm going to tell a story. Some of you have heard, Mary Kay has heard me tell it, of somebody who also risked his life to keep people healthy. His name is Recto. Recto is an immigrant, undocumented, and he's a home health care worker. And Recto, every day before COVID, would get on he lived in the Bronx, and he took care of 3 elderly people. They wouldn't have lived without him. They are on this earth, God's green earth, because of Recto. And every day, Recto would get on a bus in the Bronx and go to where they were and help them, and then go home. COVID occurred. The bus stopped running. Did Recto abandon these people? He could have. No. Is that you, Adrian? Hi, she's the one who introduced me to Recto. Can't tell with all these masks. He paid for a cab every day. Now, this man was not making much money. This man did not have spare change. But because he cared so much for the people who he knew depended on him, He did that every day. That's who our home health care workers are. By the way, that's who our immigrants are. That's who our undocumented immigrants are. Absolutely. So Recto is a great example of why we need to pass this great, great legislation. Every single day, tens of millions of elderly Americans, of sick Americans, of disabled Americans rely on home care workers and community-based workers to live their lives with dignity. Most of these immigrants, they have some things in common with Recto. They're immigrants and people of color. They have one thing not in common with Recto. They're mostly women. But they're essential parts of our communities. And I know we're hearing from some of these great workers today. And they've been nothing short of a life-saving force during COVID. COVID showed us a lot of things. I like to say that I give a speech on MLK Day where I say Dr. King, with his lifted up a huge mirror on his broad shoulders, and with his conviction, his brilliance, his faith, his eloquence, he forced America to look into the mirror. And America didn't like what it saw. And it began the slow road to change, which are still on, of racial progress. Well, COVID, in a different sense, was that mirror. And it showed us all the weaknesses in our society, such as lack of good home health care, lack of good community-based service health care. And it also showed us the strengths of our society, the people who work there, like Recto, who are so dedicated to the people they serve, even though they get paid not the wages they deserve and earn. They're our heroes. For too long, they haven't been treated like heroes, and it's creating a crisis in our country. And by the way, for those fiscal conservatives in the room, anybody? This saves money. We heard on a Zoom that we did earlier that it costs about 1/4 of the cost to treat an elderly person, a disabled person in their home than it does when they're institutionalized. So it's going to save money, it's going to make people's lives better, and it's going to create millions of good-paying union jobs. So our goal here is threefold. I've said this before, but I'll repeat it because we have so many new people here. We want to expand the availability of HCBS services so we eliminate wait lists and ensure all patients can get the help they deserve. We want to improve the pay and labor standards to attract a high-quality workforce that can meet our nation's demand. And we want to increase federal funding for these services to a level that will encourage widespread, if not universal, uptake by the states. As Majority Leader, I am committed to making sure our reconciliation bill delivers these goals. So thank you for having me. Together, you on the outside, me on the inside, what a force. We're going to get this done. Si se puede. Thank you. And I will proudly wear, I got to stretch it a little, my beautiful purple SEIU mask. And lest you think I'm sort of a dull dresser.
Look at those. Thank you so very, very much, Leader Schumer, for your tenacity and your courage and your leadership. And our next speaker is someone else who knows a little bit of something, I think, about tenacity and courage and leadership. And she stands in the eye of the storm every single day with the working people of the great state of California, but this entire country. And she is the Speaker of the U.S. House, Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, April, and aren't we proud of our California SEIU? Largest union in California. Thank you, darling. And we're proud of the work that she and the SEIU have done there. Well, April and Madam President Mary Kay Henry have been so on this case for a long time. We've had hearings in California over the years, and we're successful. We have some level of success in California, but I will not be happy until we have a level of success nationally, and unionized, for our workers. This is a time when our home health care needs and those who meet them have leverage in a very important debate in the Congress of the United States. This is not incidental to the legislation. It is very, very central because it goes to the heart of the matter that we're about working families in our country, and that we want not only the people who are caregivers at home being able to go to work because they have good care at home, but we want the respect to be there for the workers in the home. I always like to tell the story because for years we've been having these hearings in California, and I always like to tell a story of one of our witnesses who came regularly to our meetings, and she was talking about when she wanted to charge more for her services, and the family was like, well, I don't know. She said, well, if you don't think I'm worth it, do you think your mother's worth it? And of course, our families are all worth it. Addie Barkin, so many of you have been so much a part of this. This is the heart of the matter. It not only gives leverage to the home care workers, which is essential, and as I say, I want them to be able to unionize. It gives leverage to people with disabilities, some of whom need the care at home. It gives leverage to anyone who has some reason why they need care at home. So it's really a values. When they talk about, well, how much does it cost? Well, let's worry about the value that it gives to our lives. And it is part of a bigger bill when we're talking about build back better with women. And many of the caregivers are men, and we respect that as well. And many of the people who need care or need to have care at home so that they can go to work are men. But by and large, the caregivers have largely been women, both in terms of meeting their own family's needs, but also in meeting and being the caregivers that are employed in that situation. So this is something that, I mean, we started out at a big price. I hope we can be at the highest level. I was pleased to hear what the senator had to say about that. But it is, again, a tremendous value to us. And when people say they want, oh, it's too big, and yeah, well, what would you cut? Would you cut care for people with disabilities or seniors who need help or children who are sick on a prolonged basis? What would you cut? Would you cut family and medical leave, paid for family and medical leave? Would you cut child care? Would you cut universal pre-K? What would you cut? Would you cut the child care tax credit? We're talking about our people. We're talking about our people. Why? Because you don't want to tax the richest people in America? We're not punitive. We don't resent any of their success, but we do want them to pay their fair share. We want them to pay their fair share. So for so many reasons, I thank all of you. And good, I like this, America needs union jobs. I love it because what I always say is the backbone of our democracy in our country is the middle class and everybody who aspires to it. And in America, and that democracy depends on a strong middle class and those who aspire to it. And that middle class has a union label on it. So let us thank you for your patriotism and your care for people, because we should be, in addition, and you know what gets me is when they talk about the infrastructure bill, they say it's a jobs bill. This is a jobs bill too. It's a jobs bill too. And it's a jobs bill that goes to many more women, people of color, and the rest, so it engages more people, adequately compensated, respected for their work, hopefully unionized, so that we can do the best possible job for the people, for the children, for America's working families. So it's important that you're here now. Thank you for being here. It's really important that you're here now. So thank you all very much. Nice to be with you. Thank you for that opportunity. And thank you, April.
Let's give it up again for our